Hi there, let me show you how I'd approach this challenge. Mind you, it's all about having fun and experimenting, so just in case your designs look totally different, don't worry about it. You'll learn a lot from this course. But did you stop the video and try it out for yourself? If you don't have the time, at least move on to the next lecture, because once you see me do it, the exercise isn't very useful. So either stop right now and do the exercise, or skip to the next lecture and come back when you have 15 to 60 minutes to work. Okay, let's start. The first thing I want to do is figure out what goes where. The phone is a good place to start. I'll move it over these three images and see how it goes. It doesn't work here because of this boy, it would be too crowded. It could go over the city skyline, but I think it's best to place it here over this simpler background. Continuing on that path, I think this purple rectangle needs to hold the main menu and logo. Nothing else fits, so that's a good bet. Where do we place it? Well, this image is out of the question because it's purple on purple and that wouldn't make sense. We could use it on the skyline, but I saw another rectangle here. Let me move it about. We can see this is slightly transparent. This works best here because we get to see more of the sky. Thus, the solid purple rectangle should go on this image with the boy. And that's because it doesn't make sense for us to use this translucent design element on a black background. It's true, the sky is pretty dark as well, but overall, this seems like the better option. So you can see my thought process here. I'm taking it by elimination. I've also started with the item that stood out the most, the phone. Great, now for the logo and the main menu. There isn't anything special going on. I'm just going to drag them into place and I'll do my best to position them precisely. I'm talking about the vertical axis, of course. Now you'll see me use some other tools that will allow me to position these elements accurately. I know I'm cheating, but this makes things go faster. I could use only the techniques I previously described, but I'd need more time and I'd much rather keep up a good pace in this video. In general, logos are placed on the left and main menus on the right. No surprises here. When your first version is done, have a look at your remaining elements. For this design, considering the other two, I'll grab one of these dividers and use it to separate the header. We have two options, a fine line and a yellow one. We can try them out, but it's pretty obvious the yellow one stands out too much because it's quite thick. So I'll place this one around here, and chances are you're going to have to reposition your logo and main menu. In general, this type of area should be fairly compact because the star of the show is the content underneath. Let's switch gears and move to these headlines. Based on them, I'll decide if my choices so far make sense. I'll grab the first one, and since it's so clean and sleek, I'll place it next to the phone on the purple background. For me, this makes sense because this style is often used in tech websites. Immediately, I'm going to look for some text that matches it. When you have to choose from one of these 9 options, you have to either take them by elimination or simply try them on for size. Here, I'd immediately remove these 3 from the list because they're too bunched in together. There's little to no vertical space between the lines. This makes reading them a pain in the neck. Based on that, these other 3 have way too much space between them. So through a simple elimination process, we're left with just 3 paragraphs. One is condensed, which means the letters occupy a smaller space. You can see that by taking a look at the overall length. This takes up 2 lines and maybe a quarter, while the other 2 are set on 3 full lines. The other one is a serif font, which means it has some tiny decorations on certain letters. For the purple design, I'd imagine it's for some type of tech company, so a clean look is a must-have. Based on that, I'll go with this third and final option. In case you use the condensed one, that would work too, but not as well. As I'm placing these around, you may think it would have been impossible for you to have the same approach. Well, that's what this course is going to teach you. Also, you could have just tried several options, just mix and match them and see what looks right to you. Like I said, there's a couple of other combinations that would have worked, so there's more than one way of solving this challenge. Okay, let's jump ahead so I can show you my final designs. In general, things are going to go a lot slower in this course, but this is us testing out the waters, hence the speed. For the purple design, I chose the cleaner font because it's an IT-related website and that's the standard. The buttons are in the same style, and I think the red works fairly well with the purple background. It's striking, but it fits. We could have skipped this divider, but then we would have needed more space between the main menu and the phone. Of course, this element could have been made smaller, but its display is most likely going to hold an important screenshot, so bigger is better in this case. For the boy, the title I chose is this whimsical one, but I wouldn't have complained if you used this other one, which is also fun and playful. Considering its style, I wanted something very different, so the condensed body text seemed like the best approach. That brings us to the city skyline, where I centered everything because the background allowed it. If you were to left align it, the design would look weird considering all this empty space on the right. Mind you, I don't think it's a good idea to place the buttons on the same line as the text. That would occupy a part of this empty area, but it's not a good choice. So something like this, it's not a good look. Speaking about these buttons, let me tell you how I made up my mind. First, let's check them all out. Immediately, I'll start to eliminate some of them. This red-pink subscribe button has its text offset. You can see it's placed higher on the vertical axis than it should be, so that's out of the question. The purple subscribe button is also eliminated because the text is far too big. Nice-looking buttons always leave enough space all across the board. Just compare it to this other one. You might be tempted to say that the bigger one draws more attention, but I can assure you in the grand scheme of things, the smaller size works best. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is supersizing everything, and oversized buttons is one of the major pitfalls. Moving to the green button, I think this one looks better as the other one's too rounded for my taste. That's a preference, not really a guideline. For the find out more side, the story is similar. This is out because it's too small. This text is too big, so we can trash that as well. And since I didn't like the roundness of the green one, this is going to be out too. As far as mixing and matching, you always follow your fonts. So if the logo, main menu or headline are in a certain style, your buttons should match that. Of course, some rules can be broken. For example, in this city skyline, the buttons don't use the same font as the main headline, but that specific typeface doesn't work well in small sizes. The text becomes hard to read when you shrink it down. That's one clear-cut exception. Again, all these points are described in my lectures, so don't worry about it. And with that, we've wrapped up this video. I hope you enjoyed the process, even though this was only a small glimpse into the vast world of web design. I'll see you soon.